Let's get this show on the road. Show a bit willing. Act like we care. Oh shit, I'm live. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah. Oh no, we don't want to do a complete system restart. Hello, greetings, salutations, and good days and howdies to all. Starting with Dennis, who's not here today, and who is going to become the bionic fish keeper in a couple of weeks. So good luck with that, Dennis. Good day, Marquis Mark. Hello, lovely Rebecca, freshwater ichthyology. Hello. And the also lovely Adele. Hello, my dear. And the utterly sensual Yella. How you doing? Hope all are well. Has been an interesting week and a busy week for a Sharpie this week compared to usual. You know, there's actually been stuff going on. Start out with some slightly sad news, but not to be unexpected. The last remaining golden white cloud mountain minnow is no longer. Is an X1. Bob, how are you, my friend? Hope you're all well. And Mufti's here as well. Hello. So yes, no more white clouds. Judging by how it looked when I found it floating around, I think it may have got too close to first drink of the day for Yella. First drink of the day for Yella. I think it might have got a bit too close to Missy Nanakara and her either wrigglers or fry. I'm not sure because she moved the eggs and I've not seen hide nor hair of anything since. Just one rather badly murdered white cloud mountain minnow. So generally, that's my kind of theory on that. I think those white clouds are like 3 years old now, so I'm not sure how long they're meant to live, but it's gone from a tropical tank to a cold water tank to now a soft water black water tank. So I'm surprised it's done this well. The Ember Tetra is still going in there though. We've got a whole bunch more baby shellies. Had to get rid of another batch of baby bristle noses because we still got too many. Yeah, I'll say it's one of those things. Most of them barely lasted a year. I think after a couple of years I had 2 left, and then the last one just kept soldering on, and then yeah, I think I may have attempted to eat some Nanakara eggs or fry and paid the price. They're a bit crib-like. Dwarf cichlids, they're good parents. That's the problem. Anything gets too close to their bubbers knows about it, even if it's a lot bigger than they are. So yeah, there's that. I've got the new bike, which I got last week, but the video came out this week. Been on quite a few rides, as it were. Plenty of miles under my butt. Obviously working this week, but so what do I do? 29. I did 38 miles this week, which is for an unfit, fat, middle-aged man. That's not bad going. The pond is very pondy, Bob. There's a video a couple of weeks ago I put up about the pond. Fish are doing great. All four. So we've got what's on the homes, the two red comets, Baldrick the yellow comet, and Lucky the goldfish are still all kicking and fat and sassy. Hello, Angelique. Good day, night, whatever. Yes. Can get a bit confusing with the fish fan being all day, all around the world. You never quite know what time zone people are in. Yes, back to work tomorrow. It would have been less miles on the bike this week, but I kind of got a bit lost. Well, that's not exactly true. I didn't get lost. There are parts of the Norfolk countryside where there is no phone signal. And I forgot about this. And I was running Google Maps and following that. And I didn't notice that Google Maps had got lost. So I ended up doing an extra 5 miles on a ride that I really could have done without. But that made it a 17-mile ride, and I actually didn't feel bad after it once I had something to eat and a sit down. So that worked okay. So the rest of the week, yes, has been worky, roady. Visited a couple of churches on Friday. So there'll be videos on them coming up very soon. In the next couple of weeks. I did it dumb. I remembered everything else, but forgot all my notes. Great. And then today, Mary and I went round them both again, so Mary could take pictures for her Facebook page. And we got rather freaked out when we got to the second one. It's a little old village church. It's not, it's not a congregation as such. And it's Sunday afternoon, not Sunday morning. Tommy, how you doing, my friend? You handsome bastard. Yeah, so walking up towards the church, and I want to hear something. What can I hear? And if you've seen today's short that I uploaded, yeah, that's not the kind of thing you want to hear when you're walking up to an old church. It's people in a deep, or someone, I think there were two people in there, chanting in a monastic manner in Latin in a very deep bass voice. Yes, that's not what you want to hear coming out of a church on a Sunday afternoon. It was like, oh. So yes, I did. The door was slightly open, so I just peeked my head around, and there were humans in there. So thankfully, it wasn't something paranormal. It would have been even scarier if I'd have stuck my head around the door. There'd have been no one there, and it had suddenly stopped. But there we go. And Ricky's here as well. Greetings, sir. So yes, that's what I've been up to this week, and watching lots of. It sounded like a plain song or an even song, Bob. It was in Latin. Yeah, it did sound. It wasn't, but yeah, it had that. Yes, it's not very often these days you hear Latin, even in Roman Catholic churches, and this isn't a Roman Catholic church by any stretch of the imagination. But I don't think it ever was. Yeah, because I don't even do like Latin in full Roman Catholic cathedrals anymore. Yeah, well, there's no music. It was literally. I mean, there were two people, but the second person didn't do much chanting. but it's just a real deep bass voice. I can't even chant that low, but yeah, it was all in Latin. I could tell it was Latin, but thankfully by the time Mary had done her pictures, and I was like, I've got to do a short. I've got to film this, or at least record it. I didn't stick the phone right around the door because if someone had been looking, that would have probably been quite off. Um, uh, but yeah, if you look for today's short, you'll understand why we got a bit freaked out. And that was when he was chanting in English. Ricky's had blood tests today for the C word. This comes in bad and they need to go for more tests. Yeah, I can understand that on being scary. But I think I'd rather have the blood test one than the finger up the bum one. Especially when you feel both the doctor's hands on your shoulders at the same time while he's rooting around up there. Um, but yeah, so there's that. You need a translate button for passers by. Yeah, I say it's just isn't you don't only. It could well have been someone who lives locally to that church who is a monk who goes there because there isn't a congregation there every Sunday to go and do their own monastic worship. There were literally two people in there, Ricky, and there was it sounded like something out of a horror movie. If there had been candles and it had been night time, it would have been brown trouser time. Ooh, yellow's got two crystal plecos in the auction. Auction, not auction. I'm not fully Norfolk. Um, yeah, it did look like robes. There wasn't any hood. I mean, I literally just peeked one eye around the door and went, "Oh yeah, that's okay. There are people in there." Um, which I was waiting for the vampire. Yeah, exactly. Keep Beckinsale, that ugly man boy partner. Well, if you're talking about me and Mary, then I'll take that. Yeah. Tommy, how would you feel if you walked up to a church and you heard that voice chanting in Latin? Would you turn around and walk away straight away? We were tempted. Um, he just set up a spy cam. So the thing is, I was in there on Friday and it was a lovely place, very calm and peaceful. Start joining in. Now, as I say, it's one of those things where if something like that, you leave people to it. Much as it would have been nice for Mary to go inside and get pictures from the interior, it was it's quite a pretty church. It's rather plain but pretty, if you know what I mean. Um, you'll see the video will be up in a couple of weeks. But yeah, there's a walking while chanting prayers. Yeah, the problem is I don't really know any prayers. I've even kind of forgotten the Lord's Prayer because I'm a heathen. I'm a, I'm a, I even hate using the word spiritualist. I think there is a bigger power of some description, whether it's one being or multiple beings or whatever, or a general field. because I also obviously believe in paranormal, but I don't follow any particular religion or religious beliefs. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Yep. Yeehaw! I'm Christian. Murder my neighbor. Yeah. Howdy, Ian. How you doing? Yeah. Love thy neighbour with lead. Copper coated lead, anyway. And the Lord's Prayer by heart, because our school had a church. Yeah, we did as well. Yeah. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Something about bread with holes in it, cheeselets. Yeah, can't remember the rest. So I reckon I should take the ang out of evangelist. Just call it evilist. You know, good job you remembered the R in that, Ian. Is getting ready for a frap swap. A frap swap means something completely different. Only a frap could be like, yeah, we're switching frappuccinos. Why should I before I wait for those? Embroidered and framed on our bedroom wall as kids. If I'd have had that, it would have probably gone up in flames. I'd have probably smoked it. Oh, Ricky's off to feed the sugar gliders, and orchids and endlers is here. Hello, hello. Frag swap. Ah, right. Yeah, even better, you remembered the R. YouTube would probably have got really upset about that one. I think that's technically illegal. I meant cigarette. Uh, yeah, yeah. Well, I do like the idea of going to a frappuccino swap. That does sound fun. That just means cold coffee, doesn't it? So all I do is I just make a cup of coffee in the morning, and then by the time you get there, it's cold. But what? It's got water, it's got coffee in it, it's got caffeine, it's got sugar, it's got milk. What more do you want? It's all the same. It's not a lifestyle. It's it's nature's own Red Bull. That's what coffee is. We just improved on it by adding more caffeine and fizziness and sugar. Jesus, bloody dozens of baby Shelleys in there. That was the other thing that died this week, the light in the Shelley tank, which I'm pointing at, but you can't actually see because it's beside the computer. Yeah. So thankfully they were on offer on Amazon. So yes, I think it was about 30, £35 or something for a new light for a Fluval Flex. But yeah, I could have done without because I could have bought some bikey or campy gear with that. But you know, these things happen. So yes, not only do, as I say, we've got the bikey thing, we're going to use the bikey to bikey places and film stuff, churches and haunted and interesting wildlifey type places. We're also going to looking to do some sort of wild campy type bikey rides. So 2 days basically, go out, cycle X distance, wild camp. stealth camp, illegally camp, and then back the rest of the way the next day, all in preparation for trying to do the Pedder's Way. Trying to do that in 2 days might be difficult, but we'll see. Hope to be fit by the time I get to do that. But yeah, I think the first one I'll try will be the Boudica Way, which runs from just outside Norwich to a town called Diss. Yeah, MC Hammer's favourite town because you can't touch Diss. And Diss is only 12 miles from here, so the way is 36 miles. You'll want to see those videos, won't you, Mark? I've been camped for years. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so the ride is 36 miles and it's 12 miles from this to here. So I reckon we'll call it 50 miles over 2 days. Should be good. And Fish Famlink is here. Bot. Drag racing. Drag netting, perhaps. Dragging my sorry ass around the countryside on a bike. Yes. My days of doing drag are long behind me. I've got the bust for it now, but the rest of my figure don't work. And having a 6 head, that's a 4 head, that's a 5 head, well, that's a 6 head, that's a Klingon. Yeah. So yes, that's what a lot of this week has been spent doing, is trying to figure out what sort of gear one needs to go camping. And I think I'm probably going to go with a tarp setup rather than a tent, because it basically seems all the tents in my price range are absolute garbage. Don't ruin Mary's heels. Oh, trust me, Bob, I'm better in heels than Mary is. With dysphaxia, she is wobbly enough in flats. And it dragged herself out of bed, plant some of these oak trees I want to bonsai in a decade. Oh yes, yes. Oak trees, that notoriously fast-growing tree. But yeah, oak trees are gorgeous. Tarp tents work great. Do an A-frame. Yeah, so the ones I've been looking at, again, cheaper end of the market, is 3x3, which is a 10-foot by 10-foot tarp. You get some cheap and nasty guy ropes, so I'd buy paracord and replace all those anyway. And it comes with a couple of poles. So an A-frame, you can put it up without having to have 2 trees to tie a ridge line across. Or you can do all sorts of different cool type shelters with them. But yeah, so one of them, another cheap tarp for a ground sheet or similar, and then some kind of sleeping pad, probably Air One, inflatable, and maybe a sleeping bag. But I'll see how my old sleeping bag is. As again, doing it on a bike, so I want to keep the weight and the size of everything down. Oh, yeah, let's do the old squatting again. Camping's being homeless for a hobby. Pack a shovel. I'll take a towel. Don't you worry. I've got a towel already sorted. Because in my fishing days, I still have a microfiber towel. You'll go scout tents there. We don't really anymore. I don't think our scouts even go camping. The laws on camping are a bit different in the UK, I believe. You can basically only camp at campsites where you have to pay. Um, yeah, and I looked at the costs of camping because I thought the best thing to do is, because I've not been camping for 30 years, um, would be a book a campsite where I know, it's safe. I can muddle about and take hours to sort things out if I need to. Then I looked at the prices and went, no. Um, so, yes, £16 a night. No, thank you. Oh, and a minimum 2 night stay? Nope. Yeah, I know the type of tent you mean. It's basically if you've got a tarp and you just fold the corners across to make doors front and back, keep the worst of the bugs out. Brokeback Mountain camping. Oh, I know you'll love that, Brian. I know you love a bit of Brokeback, darling. Scout tent is big enough for one adult and one child. Well, yeah, it's a Catholic priest tent. Yeah, they're always kind of overly generous on how many people will fit into a tent. I know that from years ago. So unless you literally go for like a big family tent, you hear the little birdies in the background. Yeah, coming to get you, Barbara. Hello, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Sorry, you've heard that many a time. Um, so yeah, it will be a basic green tarp, a couple of poles, and some guy ropes and tent pegs with a ground sheet, a sleeping pad. Either a duvet or a sleeping bag, probably an alcohol and solid fuel stoves. They're cheap and easy. I use Twiggy for how many people went in a tent. No, I think they used Twiggy's vertically challenged cousin. Because there was one that seemed very popular on Amazon, so I thought, I'm going to look at some reviews of that. They said it's a 2-man tent. It's 2.2 meters, so it's like 7 foot long. Blah blah blah. I'm thinking, yeah, that's big enough. Easy to get me in there and the gear. Then I watched someone doing a review of it. And he's 5'7" and his feet were hanging out of the door. It's like there's about 8 inches either side of me. So yeah, they were kind of lying on that one. Then it started raining very slightly. And the water just poured in. So it was like, yeah, I'm not buying that one. Um, yeah, tent prices are ludicrous. I don't know whether it's just because it's the time of year, and it's that time of year where people do go, "Oh, let's go camping. Let's buy a tent." So all the prices go up, and then like come September, all the prices will come down again because people don't buy tents in the winter. Well, not sensible people anyway. How's the new king working out? Oh, there's not been any scandal or problems, so as far as I'm aware, all well and good. It's one of those things where the king is more just a figurehead, doesn't really have much, if any, power these days. Unfortunately. Because we need someone to go into the House of Commons and knock a few heads together. Dee Dee, dearest, hello, my dear. And Sherry, so sensible people don't go camping at all. Well, I'm not sensible, so there we go. And given the price of a space in a field to put a tent for a night, I hate to think what a bed and breakfast costs these days. Because the last time I got a bed and breakfast, it cost less than what they're asking for a bloody tent pitch. No, it's not his mum's used clothes, it's his grandpa's used clothes. That's what the aristocracy do. How are the aristocracy so rich they don't work? Well, they don't spend any money. Yeah, I'll say camping is fun, and I'll only do it in the warmer months anyway, and a couple of times a year, maybe two or three. So I don't need all the hot, super high end four season tents and sleeping bags and no, I don't need all that. Actually, they don't spend other people's money; they spend their own money. In the case of the royal family, 500 quid for two people for 4 days in Blackpool. Or is that what they pay you to spend 4 days in Blackpool these days? Because I'd want to be paid to go to Blackpool. I don't like busy touristy places. They're just noisy at the wrong times of day. Too busy. Yeah, Dee Dee's caused plenty of tents in her time as well. Why am I thinking of Carry On Camping with Barbara Windsor? Apologies, my American friends or Australian friends, if you've not seen that movie. I think Mark may have. Um, it's a very funny, very non-PC movie. I don't think you can get away with showing it these days. I mean, technically, it's a PG or a U. Am I saying there's nothing nefarious about the income the royal family gets? I am, because they make their money from their estates. The people that rent the lands on the estates and the people that visit the palaces and all that, that's where their money comes from. Um, and they pay taxes like the rest of us. Yeah, exactly. And I'll be camping solo in the middle of nowhere on my own, trying not to get spotted. Um, so we can't just go to a national park or something or anywhere like that and just or into the forest and pitch a tent, and it's absolutely fine. It's actually illegal. Only places it's illegal are Dartmoor, where you don't want to camp, and Scotland, where you probably don't want to camp either. Um, 6 months of the 6 months of the year, Scotland is really too cold to be camping. The other 6 months of the year, there's all the midges. There's a reason why when people do the John O'Groats to Land End or Land's End to John O'Groats, they start right at the top just to get that bit out of the way. Do you need a permit? There's no permits. I mean, if you get the landowner's permission, you can camp. But it's finding out who the landowner is and getting their permission, which is not easy to do. If I camp by myself in the middle of the forest, I have a banger stick for company. It's only illegal if you get caught. Exactly. So you do it stealth and sneaky like. You don't like make your presence known. You're out in the countryside and in a small copse of trees with a you know, relatively camouflaged low level thing, and you don't have a big campfire. You use a tiny little stove. You cover the flame. You don't use big bright head torches. No, you don't draw attention to yourself, and you don't leave a mess behind. You leave it as you found it, and that way, even if someone does Oh, there was someone camping in the corner of your field, Farmer Palmer. I saw him last night. You got to go check. And then Farmer Palmer goes and checks and can't see any sign really of where you were, apart from maybe some like trampled down grass or a little area cleared out so you can have your stove and not set fire to the wood. um, oh, if we'd known, we would have been spying on you, Dee Dee. We'd have been down that swimming hole with our binoculars. What is the purpose of this camping thing? It's so I can go further on my bike, get more exercise, take myself off different places, get a bit fitter, explore a bit more of the county I've lived in for so long. I realise I don't know that much about. Because there's only so many places that I can go. Yeah, it'll be a bit of a break, although cycling all the way isn't really a break. Yeah, filming different places, different things, just visiting places. I won't be doing any fishing because fishing gear weighs a ton. Hello, Andrew. How are you, sir? Apologies for missing both your Deb's streams yesterday, but work and worn out and other stuffs. Enjoying the rare sun. It's been sunny most of the week here. It's literally today it's decided to cloud over, which I'm not going to complain about. So if it means it's cloudy in the morning, I'll sleep a bit longer. But hey, just got this week to go and I've got a week off. And very nicely, my manager put me in for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for my shifts this week. So I get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then my week off. And then they put me in for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday the week after. So I get an extra 2 days. So I've booked 5 days holiday and I'll have 12 days off. So I will go for some bikey rides during that period. I will find somewhere that is a good place to try a first wild camp. I think I've probably found a couple of likely spots already, but see if I can find somewhere just right. Yeah, I'll be getting the old Google Maps and having a look-see about. Sounds like a promising break. It will be. And no doubt, if the weather's pants, I'll get a latte visit. If the weather's bad, if the weather's pants, I'll get a latte visit. If the weather's good, Mary and I will probably make use of the National Trust gift card that I got for my birthday, and we will go exploring somewhere, a stately home of some type. Haunted Graveyard would be a good place, and I know of a couple of those, funny enough. And actually, one of the spots was very near the church with the weird chanting from today. Literally right out the back of it. In some woods. But yeah, there's that. So, yeah, that should be fun. I just got to get my stuff sorted. My eyes are been squished out of sockets. But if you're at the swimming hole, yeah. I'd be able to shut my eyes now and still see that picture. Oh dear. I thought ghosts haunt the place they died. It can either be the place they died or a place that had strong memories for them, or wherever. I mean, I've got Shadow here, and she didn't die here. She died about 17 miles that way, down a well. Yeah, I'll say if ghosts did just haunt the place they died, then hospitals would be super spooky places. And Tampa Tom is here, the Mad Mower. He's going to cut the grass for my camping site for me. Thank you very much. If you could get rid of the nettles as well, that would be a bonus. And chuck a bug bomb down as well. Just so I don't get spiders crawling all over me during the night, and beetles and ants and God knows what. Yeah, battlefields. Oh, thank you very much, Bob, for that $9.99 super chat for Mary's Heels Fund. I think we can safely say Mary's never going to wear heels again. As she either walks with a stick or a roller tour thing these days. She's okay around the house, but when we get out and about, then she needs something to support her. Quirky! Ooh. Andrew, why do my bristlenose fry die once they've left the cave? Lack of food, possibly? That's generally the only reason I can think of. They're not finding enough to eat. Which Lee are we talking about? If you could let me know, I might know why they're not here. And thank you for the linkies, Yellow. And if you would be so kind as to put up the linky poo to Debs's GoFundMe and Mike's if they're still up and running, that would be most welcome. Lady Metalhead, how's the heart, my dear? No, I'm not wearing a Nightwish t-shirt today. It's a Firefly one instead, so still cool. Oh, and Bob's been a member for 16 months. Awesome. I found the bike I was trying to buy for 100, but the mechanic bought it, put new tyres and brakes on it, that's 450. Sounds about right. Even further out of budget. And you're in the States, right? So I'm guessing they don't have the cycle to work scheme running there, which is awesome. Because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to afford my new bike either. And none of the new opportunities would have opened up to me. The auction craycage is super close to reaching her goal. Oh, excellent. As I say, every little helps. £139 to reach her target. Oh, so close. So if anyone has got anything left that they can donate, that would be wondrous. And yes, Craig and Bella, lovely. Although I do wind Craig up, but yeah. Brits and Aussies have that same kind of wind-up sense of humour to each other, so it's okay. It's understood that it's just a joke. But yeah, Bristol's leaving the cave and dying. I would say it's probably not finding food, because when they're just off the yolk, they have to find food real fast, which is another reason I've on day 5 mine go into the breeder box with a chunk of wood in there, because you've always got to have some wood in your box. I don't think I can. Don't think I can make it any worse than that. But yeah, it means that they've literally got hours, I think, once they're off the yolk to find food. So I put them in there while I'm still on the yolk, and chuck a couple of algae wafers in there every day until they, yeah, that works for me anyway, as you can probably tell. Hardwood, oh, that all depends on if Dee Dee's been swimming or if Marit's around. And yeah, don't let anyone else touch your wood. You don't want your wood getting contaminated. You certainly don't want aquarium herpes. But yeah, that's what I'd do, Andrew. So I put the caves where they spawn, where I can see into them, and then every day when I go to feed, I just quick look in the caves. Is there a male bristlenose in there? If there is, have a bit of a closer look. Usually grab the torch or flashlight. Have a quick look in there, see if I can see eggs, and then make note of the day. And 5 days later, they go into a breeder box, whether they like it or not. Usually the male doesn't like it. Spotty's normally pretty good. As soon as I pick up the cave, he'll start just swimming out of it gently. Fred tends to try and stay in the cave, so you end up getting does that just because he likes to know who's where exactly. Yeah, it's I know caves aren't the most visually appealing thing in a fish tank, especially if you're very carefully scaping it and making it look so lovely. But oh yes, good point, Dee Dee. Heels and canes work well in burlesque. And now you got me thinking about you doing burlesque, and I'm not going to need to buy another tent. Drama I had today trying to get out the barrier ancestors and binoculars from the same cave. I can imagine. I think the crevice caves are epic, but bloody expensive. Yeah, so I've got I mean, that's whatever round one is. I've got off Amazon. I've got a little terracotta one. I've got a teeny tiny terracotta one, which is in with the clown plecos, just in case. And one of those terracotta plant watering spikes. Bristlenoses love those. But, and it's a big but, because they narrow right down at the end, the males can jam themselves in there real tight and you'll never get them out. So you end up managing to get all the plecklets out without getting the male out. Yeah. As long as this hobby can fund itself, I didn't need the bike anyway. Great, don't need a bike because of all of your DUIs. Yeah. Interesting factoid, you can be done DUI in the UK for riding a bike while intoxicated. Yeah, I'll say they're good and usually readily available and usually cheaper than pleco caves, the plant watering spikes. Typically, when I wanted one, we couldn't find one anywhere. As soon as Mary found one, they suddenly turned up in all the shops. So I'm guessing there was just a shortage of them, probably a COVID thing. Yeah, you can get drunk on a scooter and a horse as well. Well, a horse I think is a horse class as a dangerous weapon if you're on it drunk. It's drunk in charge of a dangerous weapon. People are going to be arrested here for walking down the street intoxicated. They call it a PI, which is public intoxication. Yeah, we don't have that over here because otherwise every cell in every police station would be jam-packed every Friday and Saturday night. Gardening is going. Oh, pardon me. Problem is at the moment, because we've had a lot of rain and now we're having a lot of sun, It's growing quicker than I can chop it, but I'll get on top of it. Debs, darling, how are you, my dear? Hope hope you're doing well, and glad to hear you're getting very near your target for your wee one. Yeah, I've seen people have alcohol taken off them by the police. I think they tried to do it to me once, but I just downed the rest of the bottle of vodka. um, and yeah, horses can be weapons. If you've ever been kicked by a horse, yeah, they're a weapon. And his quote, he says, police cops will use them in that manner. Yeah, police cops. Yeah, it's like army soldiers or Navy Marines. Um, or Sahara Desert, because Sahara means desert. Um, can you train a horse to kick? Uh, pretty much. If you can teach him to mince, you can teach him to kick. Sorry, it's called dressage. I call it horse mincing because it looks like the horses are being, well, you know, camp. Um, okay. Tiring weekend, but amazing. Off to bed soon. Well, there we go. For when you do go to bed, Debs, I'm sending a little tuck in and a kiss goodnight. Yeah, ATM machine, PIN number, dress or menages. Yeah, you just don't have three horses doing a menage at the same time. Um, yeah, yeah, horse bites are bad. Horse kicks are bad. Horses are bad. They look pretty, but they're evil. They're like rabbits. Oh dear. Yeah, father-in-law calls it in the AL, the AL machine or the AL. Yeah. Um, the auto laundering, I'm guessing. Ask to mouth. Yes, that's what you want big dogs to do. You want like Rottweilers. You want them to ask before they mouth your hand. We're going to keep that one polite. As for some reason, last week's stream we got limited monetization. I guess I probably swore or something, or maybe it was the politics and religion talk that did it. One of those. Who knows these days what people class as offensive? You know, I mean, I find people being offended at things offensive. Yeah, I love it when the ATM says free cash. I have yet to get money for nothing. Yeah, it's basically because back in the day, if you used the ATM from another bank or one that wasn't your bank or building society, you got charged to use it. That's the thing. Yeah, Huawei is ordained. He is ordained into the church of the poisoned mind. Can fish be trained as weapons? Well, I mean, it's not technically fish because they're mammals, but the US Army trained dolphins to plant mines on ships in World War II. So the Russians did the same with dogs, train them to plant mines, magnetic mines under tanks. problem is they used Russian tanks for the training, so when they released the dogs, they ran towards the Russian tanks and ran under them. Because, you know, war is scary for a dog. So yes, the dogs all ran under the Russian tanks and attached mines to the bottom of them. And I think it was the CIA who had the thing where it was fitting the bats with the little napalm vests. Timed to go off at a certain time. So you release them all during the day. They all go and hide under the eaves of houses because they don't like the sunlight. And then, yeah. Then all the little napalm vests go off and all houses burn down. Scientists at Southampton spotted a Russian dolphin. It's obvious, other than the tag, it was just too friendly. So the old Aussie poem, The Loaded Dog, yes. Probably found them in Korea as well, Russian trained dolphins. But, you know, it was a world war when it started being done, and they were trying to find any way they could to find an advantage. And Peter didn't exist back then. Yeah, well, the Russians are probably still doing it. Yes, their new submarines. Oh yeah, pufferfish spines. Yeah, catfish. Yeah, the venom. Good poison. People eat whales. They eat dolphins too. Probably. I would think so. I mean, if you're in an area of the world that isn't rich, doesn't have like shops stocking everything that you need, and you can just go into the shop and buy everything. Subsistence living. If you've got a pod of dolphins in your little bay, and they're kind of friendly and easy to hunt, you're going to eat dolphin. Peter shouldn't exist now. Well, you know, as long as pool pies exist, we don't have a problem. Exactly. And this is another upside of the cycling: is I can eat more pork pies because I'm burning more calories. From South Park with Japanese only hunt them. Yeah, yeah. I'll say the Faroe Islands, yeah, possibly. I mean, Falklands. I think the Falklands, they eat penguin, don't they? Sometimes. It's. I don't. I'm not entirely sure about now, but I know in the 90s in the Falklands, the only cinema was on the British naval base. So if anyone wanted to go to the pictures to see the movies, they had to go to the naval base to see them. Which is probably why there's still a naval base there. It's the only one that actually runs at a profit. That and Gibraltar might do as well. Oh, fat cat coming over the hedge, chasing a pigeon. That's okay. We don't like pigeons. Yeah, well, the Irish drink penguin as well. So, as discussed last week, if you liquidize them, the black stuff stays at the bottom, the white stuff comes to the top, and that's Guinness. The Faroe Islands. Yeah, there's somewhere you really don't want to visit in the winter. I think somewhere like the Faroes would be a good place if Karening became illegal, right? So being a Karen, I reckon the punishment should be a year in somewhere like the Faroe Islands or the Falklands. You know, literally some hellscape of weather. You know, full fury of the Atlantic storms. The supply ship comes in once a month. All the food is in tins. Ah, yes, bring back the gulags. Well, the gulags still exist, let's be honest. That's where everyone who's been disagreeing with Mr. Vladimir has been going off to. Yes. To the salt mine. Prohibition causes black markets. Exactly, it does. If people can't buy what they want, then if they can't buy it legally, they'll buy it illegally. Because, I mean, prohibition worked really well in America, didn't it? It just meant the people making the illegal booze got really rich. Pardon me. Yeah, so I see. I mean, we're not supposed to, but well, exactly. Do you? And I'm still for the idea that Karen Karen should become a verb. To Karen. The war on drugs hasn't worked. No, weird, isn't it? You make drugs illegal, people still want them. You make them legal, like in places like, or decriminalise them, like in Holland and Portugal and quite a few states on certain ones. It's funny that how massive increase in taxes for the government, and a lot less people having issues with them. Like, they just confiscate what you have and stuff. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we all know that like the end of year police Christmas party is fueled by lots of things that have been taken away from young teenage boys. Um, Someone's been silly enough to get caught with an eighth. That goes into the law, into the evidence locker, and then it kind of disappears. Pornhub. Yeah, dispensaries take credit cards. Exactly. Yeah, if you just like, in the UK, it probably wouldn't be a separate shop. It'd probably just be, if it happened, it'd be behind the counter, in same way you buy cigarettes or tobacco or lottery tickets. Um, you go in there, 30 grams of amber leaf and 5 grams of whatever they call it. If you don't like something, why don't you just why don't people leave? Well, I mean, a lot of the times they can't afford to. But, and quite a lot of the time, Hindu Kush, yes. Also, a lot of the time, a lot of these laws are just stupid. Um, yeah, especially the ones that are religious based. My religion says you can't do this. Let's make it illegal. Yeah, my religion doesn't. So that's technically religious discrimination, which is also illegal. See how these things don't work? How are the happy cars doing? Hello, Brian. The happy cars are happy and are caring. There is Ernie. He's just watching some Limias doing Limia things. Oh my god, there's thousands of them now. It's like Zulu, there's thousands of them. Absolute cloud of Limia. And they're not just little fry. Well, we know you like a burning bush yellow. But we'll start off down here with the Shelly babies. If we can see through the algae. All right. Come on, camera. Focus. Gonna have to get up high to dodge the algae. But yeah, you can just about. Let's try and get it in the middle of the screen, shall we? So yeah, there's Shelly fry all over the place in there. And then keeping the camera pointed in a safe direction. But there's just Limia for days. But yeah, there's Ernie. Just chilling. Bert is probably asleep somewhere. Look, there's Spotty. Father of several thousand Blackos. And a whole bunch more Limia. There's literally nothing in here that's eating the baby Limia, which is kind of annoying. I mean, that's not all of them. Oh, God. There's also that tank full of Limia. The thing with the Limia, Rebecca, is I found you can't keep dwarf cichlids with them because that's my usual plan of attack with live bearers. Is to put a dwarf cichlid or a pair of dwarf cichlids in the tank and they keep the live bearers under control. Problem is the adult Limias beat up the dwarf cichlids. They literally just constantly peck at them until. Right, I don't know if you saw what happened to Drink, Mr. Nanakara, but he had a big old patch on his side where they literally just pecked him down to the skin. Some tribal areas you can use peyote and mushrooms for religious purposes. Religions in Australia wanted exceptions to the anti-discrimination laws. Why doesn't that surprise me? And I'm guessing that didn't go through. Platties are now in separate groups. Males only have each other to enjoy. Yeah, I'm guessing male platties do that because I know male guppies do. If you keep a load of male guppies together, they will get their gonopodiums stuck in each other. We got baby pistos. Yay! Congratulations on that, Bob. Mini pistos. And Limira pain. Tigers I don't think was bad. Platties are found helpful with billfish and clearing a wound. Yeah, platties do that. Bun Bun! Hello, my darling. How are you? All the hearties. Yeah, male. I don't think it's platties. I think it's just all male live bearers. They're like teenage boys. I try and stick it in any hole they can. I'm sure the eel wasn't too happy about it. I mean, the way this is going, I might need to get another Baisha Bashir dino fish just to clear the numbers out a bit because yeah. Well, all the shop people was, yeah, they're gorgeous, amazing, awesome, lovely fish. For some reason the public ain't buying them. It's because they're not vibrant, bright colours like platties or guppies. They're a hell of a lot hardier. Because they're basically a wild fish. They haven't been inbred over thousands of generations to look different. If you caught Limia perugiae in the wild, they would look the same as those Limia perugiae. Maybe slightly more colourful because of sunlight, etc. Getting apistos to breed, is it important to give them live brine and stuff to encourage breeding? Live brine, yes, that will help because that will condition the adults. But I think one of the main things with dwarf cichlids is that they won't breed unless there's enough suitable food in the tank for the fry to eat. Because literally as soon as the Daphnia started populating the Nanakara drink tank that that they started breeding. Always fed my pisto on dry before I found Rapashi. Um, yeah, it's basically one Infusoria alfux or whatever you want to call it, microfauna, little buggy things swimming around, stuff that the fry can eat when they're first off the yolk. That's the parents will decide then. Okay, if we have babies now, we can feed them, um, and then quit feeding BBS to Achilles. The breeding stopped. Yeah, so it's the life who does condition them. Um, I will have to get a bucket or a tub outside again. Oh, excuse me. Just so I can grow mosquito larvae. And I do have my brine shrimp hatchery there as well. So little buggies need little horses. Yes, they do. Shetland bonies. Guess who put an aquarium together? Siliconed it and forgot to remove the tape before the silicone dried. Oh dear, Dee Dee. Are you stuck with tape underneath your silicone now? Oh well, never mind. Snails will soon eat it. Do you want to experiment with growing algae on rocks outside? That's actually a really good idea. I might have a couple of real rocks left around, but I've got some of the fake corally rock things from Pets at Home. So I might, as this year's experiment, because I don't really want a bunch of extra fish at the moment, or shrimp, is just fill that old 10-gallon tub up with water, leave it, stick some of the fake rocks and decor in there, and see what grows. Now, not actually put anything in there, but leave it for the summer and the autumn and see what is in there at the end of it. As aside from green water and probably pond snails, probably ram's horn snails as well. Oh, so we've got baby Midas coming out of our ears, around 300 born 6 weeks ago. Mum just hatched around 1,000 more last week. Oh boy. And Midas are big fishies, aren't they? So you're going to be doing very well to sell them, Lady M. Are platinum apistos cheaper than normal apistos? It might just be that your Thai farmers got a lot of them in at the moment and trying to shift them. Because normally platinum is more expensive. Rebecca doesn't have any rocks in general, so need to find some. I'm sure you can, knowing where you are in the world, I'm sure you can find plenty of rocks locally. And if you're just doing it in a bucket or something outside, then you don't need to worry about them being, I mentioned monetization earlier. That was it. Yeah, not seen a Midas in years here. They went under the convict label. Yeah, I mean, you still see convicts in shops. But yeah, you don't see the Midases because 99.9% of people in the UK don't have a tank big enough for a Midas cichlid. Actually, it's probably closer to 99.999%. And if they breed, you're going to be stuck with them because the shops are going to buy maybe one every 6 months. In terms of people not wanting them anymore. Yeah, so a lot of the time, I mean, I'm pretty sure shops don't buy convict cichlids. I think it's just people bringing the bloody things in and go, please take these. I've got too many. I bought two because I thought they were pretty and I'd like to breed them, but now no one wants to buy them. Same with the standard crebensis. Rather tricky to move on. I mean, I don't have any problem moving the Subosalatus, and they breed. I can sell them quite easily. But yeah, the standard Pelvicochromis pulcher, the standard crib as we all know it. Yeah, moving them on is a nightmare because they're pretty fish and everyone knows them and everyone knows they're pretty. And then they buy them and then they accidentally breed, and because they're really good parents, people end up with a lot of cribs. We didn't do it on purpose. We thought we had 2 males. Way off. Well, you're only 50% wrong, lady. Yeah? You know, 50% is a passing mark some places. Oh, yeah. Where is... Oh, yes, exactly. Whereabouts in the world is Mark at the moment? And has he got a mummified crocodile? I've got some crocs. I could wrap them in bandages for you. Yeah, big oops. Yes. And the problem with it being a Midas cichlid is you can't stick something in there that's going to eat the fry, because the Midas cichlid will eat what you stuck in there to eat the fry. Yeah. I think it's basically going to be a case of airline siphon the fry out wearing gloves. And yeah. Use your preferred method of culling. I know it sounds horrible, but you know, oh yeah, yes, exactly, Tom. Sun makes stuff grow, and then you got to go mow. Creamsicle Midas, they're gorgeous, but yes, wearing gloves. Oh yeah, 'cause I'm pretty sure you go sticking your hands around Midas babies, you're gonna get bitten. I mean, hell, I've I've been attacked by shell dwellers. I've had shell dwellers bite me, and it's quite funny because their little teeth aren't big enough to get through my hide. But yeah, you go near their shell when they got fry in there, they'll nip your fingers. Um, Hold on, yeah, I got bitten by an angelfish, got bitten by a betta, been spined by bristle noses, God knows how many times. Well, it's not just reputation, Ricky. I culled 150 bristle noses this week just because I got nowhere to put them. That simple. I mean, yeah, I do have a spare tank. I could put them in, but I don't want to set up that tank and do it. No mummified crocs. So behind glass and Egyptian police all had AK-47s. Yeah, probably for the best. The Olympia Stadium. Olympia, not to be confused with Olympus. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, it's like when you stick your hand in the tank with live bearers, you know, like platies or guppies, and they all come along and nip in on your hand if you've got hairy hands and arms. They just try to pull the algae off because they think that's what your hair is. Oh, you cull a bad-looking discus for reputation. I'm personally, for my reputation, I would just cull all the discus. Um, you know, we can't be having too many of them being available and dropping the price. Yeah, exactly. It's more for sanity than reputation. No, not with plates or frisbees. Discus are the perfect shape to fit in a sandwich. That's what I keep telling people. They're sandwich filling fish. And angelfish, they're designed to go on crackers because they're square shaped as well. And there's Graham feeling attacked because I'm giving my usual jokes about discus. Hello, Graham. How are you, my friend? Apologies for missing your stream last couple, 3, 4, however many weeks, but work, busy. You know how it is, life stuff. If they fit in a bun, yeah. Pacu would be great on a grill. They would. Well, pacu are a food fish where they're native. They are the best cichlids, honestly. Otherwise, I don't. Pistos or rams. It's in Flowerhorn farm culling female, so the bloodline doesn't leave their farms. Not really. I'm just waiting for someone to actually breed flower horns that have like array on the side of their nuchal hump. Yeah, pacu of food fish, yes, and tilapia. Um, I mean, pleco's a food fish in South America. Don't see any harm in pet quality and show quality. Yeah, it's I don't know. It just kind of bugs me. I if they like if I had guppies, I would get all the various different, like I did before. I'd get all the various different flavors that people have very carefully bred over the tens and tens of generations to get them to look just like this, and I'd mix them all together. See if I could get a wild type guppy. Carl, I'd rather that be used than for something done with a fry. Yes. Pacus, arapaima, and gars are all food fish thanks to the idiots who released them in the wild. Actually, speaking of which, we've had a new invasive species turn up in the UK. The Prussian carp has been found, which is a big problem because it will interbreed with our crucian carp and goldfish. And the crucian carp is getting. No, it's only just been found, Rebecca. I think it might have been in like a couple of very strictly restricted ponds or lakes, but it's been found wild now. Most crucian are questionably not pure, exactly, because idiots keep putting goldfish in ponds. But yeah, I mean, around here, certainly there are places where there are pure crucian carp, and you can tell when you catch them. Because if they've got goldfish genes in them, they're really easy to catch. If they're pure crucians, they're real finicky feeders. Why surprise an invasive Prussian? It kind of, yeah. I think what's probably happened is because Prussian carp are a food fish in Eastern Europe. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's that some of our Eastern European cousins have thought, we want this food fish that we used to eat in our home country and have let a load go. Hopefully, it's only in one or two small isolated places and not everywhere. Grego, how you doing? And on behalf of everyone, thank you very much for running the auction for Deb. I know it means a lot to Deb and the rest of the fish fam, so thank you. And back to the normal schedule programming of belches. Definitely get the pool ready since 3 feet pacu. Well, so my LFS had the monster tank that had a couple of pacu in it before it blew a seam and started leaking. Yeah, I mean, they weren't huge, but you know, I couldn't eat a whole one. And they were, that kind of size. Bloody cats. Oh dear. One of these days, a cat is just going to melt Mark's heart. That, or as I say, he is going to move to China so we can start eating them. I do get it because I do know and understand about the feral cat problems in Oz. Been awake all night again. Sinus infections. They're not good. Yeah, there's not really a lot you can do other than just keep trying to blow everything out that you can. Got 6 cats, and if any of them turn up missing, I'll get an FBI in the neighbourhood. First thing to check is whether Mark is on holiday in your neighbourhood. Tribes eat fishing cats and jungle cats here. Worse. But you eat what you can get hold of. And when it's that kind of it's personally I would love a panda burger, but you try and stop them, they get a mob. Jason got a video on sinusy stuff. Cool. You probably get sinus infections when you start brushing your teeth with hemorrhoid cream anyway. He's never living that one down. And Scotty's here, Mr. Haley and Wild Hairsoft. Bought new fish, first time in over a year. Ooh, what did you get? What did you get? Tell. We need to know. Conversation went south real fast. Welcome to the stream, Lady M. We're actually pretty far north still at the moment. Gotta go, but I'll leave you with this. And the theme tune. See you later, Yella. Have a good one. Keep squatting. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times, Lady M, we end up looking up at the gutter here. Trio Montezuma Green Swordtails. And Giggles says hi to. Hi, Paige. Mwah. Yeah. Yeah, it's mild compared to normal. I'm behaving myself today. We haven't gotten to ladies' underwear or anything like that yet. And I hope the Montezuma Swordtails don't have any revenge. I don't know if Montezuma's revenge translates over into the States, but it's generally what happens when you have a really hot curry. And thank you very much, Sam, for dropping those links again. Well, so I did have swordtails, and then Spaz ate them. Working at an LFS, working 7 days a week, got out of that BS though. Yeah, working 7 days a week is not good for anyone. Barley belly, yeah, or Delhi belly is the other one. Generally, what happens whenever any Brit goes anywhere abroad and tries the local food, spend the first 3 days of their holiday sat either on the toilet or in the shower crying. Not gone south yet. When you feel cold, just go to the South Pole. Oh yeah. And this is why it'd be a bad idea if Tommy and I ever got together on a stream. I think we'd probably have to set up a different channel for it. So I think both of us would get rapidly demonetized. Probably get our channels blocked as well. Yeah, I'll say all the. Yes, imagine your immune system's after you foot scald and stress of house hunting, antibiotics, so they help the foot, but also killed the beneficial bacteria. Yeah, that's the thing is, if you get antibiotics, they normally make you, for one thing, they normally make you worse somewhere else down the line. So I try to avoid any kind of medications if I can. I mean, sometimes you can't, sometimes you need them. Sometimes just dunking the affected part in salt water or pure alcohol doesn't do the trick. Or picking a scab off and just squeezing all the gunk out. You can't get the sinus to unblock. Saline sometimes works, but vapor rub, Vicks vapor rub, anything menthol will help break things up that are in your sinuses. It's that time, well, I'll say that time of year again, but yeah, hay fever kicking in. So I'm back on having menthol filters available. So I'll have a couple of menthols in the morning and then every so often throughout the day, just so that it clears things out that are getting bunged up. Yo, Anthony's lurking while playing dolls with his princess. How you doing? Hope all is good, Anthony. Say hi to the little princess. If sanitizers kill 99.9% of bacteria, won't vodka have the same effect internally? Yeah, pretty much. Tea tree and eucalyptus oil mixed in a diffuser, that'll do it. Or just in a bowl of hot water with a towel over it and your head over it, like you basically treat it like a cold if you're all stuffed up. But yeah, yes, vodka will kill off your gut biome. Yeah, menthol, eucalyptus, anything like that which will break up mucus is what you need, Craig. The problem you'll have, I know it's sore and it's horrible at the moment. When it starts breaking up, you'll really know about it. Yeah. Have I ever kept Nigerian red crebensis? Nope. They had a label, but the LOS was sold out. As far as I'm aware, you treat them the same as any other crebensis. It's, you know, give them water, some plants, and a coconut hut, and they will multiply. Is pretty much the trick with cribs. Yeah, vodka is normally around 40%. But yeah, it will kill some of the bugs, the beneficial bugs in your guts. And if you drink enough vodka, it'll probably clean the toilet as well. I'm sure there's sometimes in the past where I've gone for a pee and it's been pure vodka coming out. Not a pleasant experience, trust me. But yeah, you definitely don't want that up your nose either. Again, trust me. Absinthe. Oh yeah, absinthe makes a heart grow fonder. Yeah, moonshine, yeah, that'll definitely. Yeah, just basically drink pure ethanol. That's what you're doing. And was it? There was a video I was watching the other day where the guy cracked open a can of Copperberg, which is a brand of cider. And he's looking at it and he goes, "Oh, made with fresh Swedish spring water." I'm thinking, hang on, there's no water in cider. It's just apple, fermented apple. Yeah, that's not cider. It's never even seen a bloody apple. If you don't start with apple juice, it's not cider. Or pear juice, then it becomes a perry. Yeah, it really bugs me when they call it a cider and it's never seen an apple. Unlike Henry Weston's, which is actually a cider made from apples. Yeah, no water inside. Yeah, water's broke. Yeah, yeah. No, literally, it is just flavoured ethanol and water. That's all it is. Which is why Andrew sticks to the Henry Weston's. It's proper cider. Or, or scrumpy. That's the best cider ever. The stuff that's still got the bits of apple floating around in it and the dead wasps usually comes in a milk jug. Had my head over the jug for 3 hours. Oh dear. I do. I feel your pain, Craig. Has been there, done that. Um, yeah, men. Yeah, almost sounded like Phil Harding. Oh God, no. Oh no. I, actually, no. Sounding like Phil Harding is okay. I'm never going to wear those shorts. The hat I could probably get away with, but those shorts, no. For those unaware, Phil Harding is a famous TV archaeologist in the UK. He used to be on Time Team. I think he might still be sometimes. Because if you didn't know, Time Team is now done on a YouTube channel. Vodka smells worse than pure ethanol or isopropyl alcohol. Because it smells of stale potatoes, that's why. Who's drinking methanol? Yeah, no one's drinking methanol because methanol will make you blind. And that's where the whole thing about drinking too much and make you blind comes from, because certain cheaply produced alcohols do contain a percentage of methanol. And yeah, methanol leads to blindness. Ethanol is safe to drink. People give methanol a good go once, but I sometimes work with it. Yeah, I mean that's the reason that our methylated spirits are purple, is because they put something in there. They dye to make it purple, so you can't sell it as vodka. Um, but they also actually put something in there that will make you throw up because it's dangerous. And back in the day, tramps used to buy it and drink it because it was very cheap. And you didn't need to drink much of it to get very drunk. Methanol is clear, but it also has something else in. Yeah. Um, as I say, methanol methylated spirits is very similar, but yeah, if you try and buy methylated spirits in the shop, it's purple. White spirit, I think, is ethanol rather than methanol. So white spirit is still clear. Put stuff in biofuels as well, so people don't drink it. Yep. Yes, that's methanol as well. Well, it's bioethanol, but they they don't waste like the first. Is it 5%? I'm trying to remember. I watched the thing on moonshine distilling. I think it's something like the first 5% of what comes out of the still is methanol. You get rid of that, and then the rest is ethanol. As the saying goes, you don't need a parachute to skydive. You just need it for the second time. Yeah, or if you want to go a second time. Yeah, it's. Although there have been quite a few people whose parachutes failed to open and have survived. There was one I seem to remember woman who somehow miraculously landed in a haystack. That was it. That's the word I was looking for. Plummeted for how many thousand feet, landed in a haystack, and I think she just broke her legs. Used by some fantastic moonshine from a cool old black man named Turkey. Must have been 85, and he made it at home. Came sealed in new gallon milk jugs. Use methanol borax in bonfires. Yeah, that'll get it going. I mean, not that I use one near Salisbury where her husband cut the rams. I mean, I suppose that's a nice quick divorce, as long as no one realises. But the fact that when they went to investigate and all the ropes had been cut, pretty obvious. Need to get some borax when my tooth at pseudacanthicus arrives. Yeah, borax burns green. Yes. They use it in smelting to get gold out of ore, I believe. Borax is part of the flux. All the hugs going to Bun Bun and Mama Bun. See, I don't go with the Viper part because he's just sweet. I've not encountered the Viper part, so I just go with the Bunny part. Because I'm a softie. Well, feel better soon. That's all we have to say on that one. So where were we? So we've gone from camping, cycling, spooky chanting, some actual fish stuff. Nano, nano. Yeah, we've got an alcoholism. So we've covered quite the gamut today. We've actually kept it fairly clean. Well done, chat. So I'm just wondering why the borax for the pseudacanthicus? Do they need it in the water, or are you getting a dead one? Or if it's part of the preservation? Rebecca, I'm not sure. I can't think any particular reason why a live creature would eat borax. So I'm guessing it's probably part of the. I don't have a 2-foot jar. Well, so I have to draw it out. Yeah, it's that, or see if you can find a cheap 2-foot tank. It's not a 10-gallon long or something. Night, Bob. Thank you very much for the super chat again. Stay safe and have a good week. Formula bath for a week and then borax with salt bath. That should do the trick. That'll certainly dry things out. Use borax as tan skins of small animals. And did you know, I can't remember the make now. There is a kind of leather, expensive posh leather soles that you can buy for your shoes when you're having your shoes resoled. If you buy expensive enough shoes, that resoling them is actually cheaper than buying a new pair of shoes. And they tan the leather still to this day. I think it's in Germany, but the leather is still tanned in oak bark and urine. So, maybe don't wear them if it's raining. It might be a bit of a hum. Bicarbonate of soda also works. Salt sticks to the fish too easily. Oh. So it's in my book, at least, it's taking a bit of time to reply or say thank you for something, yeah, that's just one of those things. It's not doing it is far ruder. Um, Better to be late than sorry. And that's, yeah, then yeah, that applies to a couple of other things as well. Bottled dead animals to put on display. Animal fetus in a jar to tigers, leopards, elephants, and got it off a zoo when they were closing. Ah, I'm fairly grim, but you know, yes, it's how we study these things. You know? If you don't preserve them, they tend to rot quite nastily. Wet specimen, most things have a use for pseudocanthicus, otherwise, I donate things to the museum. Is this going to be part of another study, Rebecca? Part of a PhD, as it were? Part of your continued education? CT scan quite a few specimens. Again, that's probably the best way to learn about their insides. Um, Got more dead animals than live ones. Yeah, I think I'm safe. Oh, bless me. No, nothing came out. We're good. Something that Craig wishes he could do: sneeze and just have a snot explosion. Um, that might work. Sniff some pepper, Craig. Some sneezing powder. That might get you clear something out. Thank you very much, Bun. I was expecting brain matter. That's a relatively quiet sneeze for me. Um, but if you want a really loud sneeze, oh, good few years ago now, there's a video from Flixton Air Museum that I did. Just a bit of a wander around. It's only a couple of minutes long, I think. But yeah, I went with Mary and Nadine decided to sneeze in the middle of the video. Yeah, brain matter. Fortunately, my brain is slightly too large to come through my nostrils. But that's only because I've broken my nose so many times, my nostrils are tiny. Apparently, my freezer's got dead juvenile guitar sharks, milk sharks, juvenile jaguars. Yeah, so when you've had a few to drink, and iguanas, yeah, so if you've had a few to drink and you're around Ricky's, and he says, "It's all right, I'll make us something. I've got plenty in the freezer. Be a bit careful." Make sure he goes to the right freezer. I've seen a film in school in the 70s of a sneeze in slow motion. It was stitched to cover our mouth. Yeah, it's see how much comes out when you actually sneeze, how many droplets of fluid, which is, but you know, if I was in public, I would cover my face. But as I'm at home on my own, I just aimed it away from the camera, just in case anything escaped. Rotation bunny shit to a freezer stream. Oh yes, yes, the Ricky Bunny and there we go, Ricky Bunny and Becca. A stream of here's all our dead animals. Let's see how many complaints one video or live stream can get. We always water them. Yeah, all three together, all the dead animals in one stream. You know, I mean, I know, as Rebecca's told me in the past, that anytime she shows specimens on in a video, she gets some very upset people commenting. Um, yeah, put the three of you together. You'd probably break the internet. There'll be people going on their keyboards on Reddit. Got an egg-bound ornate Baisha too, thinking it could be a rare specimen. Cool. Baishas are always cool. No, so for a big predatory fish, they are so chilled. We're slowly getting rid of the freezer specimens. Even the tanned ones will probably never have a chance to do taxidermy again. We should knew another taxidermist to give them to. Again, might sound weird, but Facebook or YouTube, you might find someone with a group or a channel that does taxidermy. They might be kind of local, or they might want some specimens, and you could do that possibly. It's right. Hair's getting in a bit of a knot. It's amazing to me the amount of times we get people come into work. I work in a hardware store, and I'll be asking if we got something or if we can help, and it won't have occurred to them to like Google or YouTube how to do it or what the thing they want is, or even where it might be available. I had someone come in on Saturday asking for gas bottles for barbecues and caravan. I think it was a caravan in particular. So do you guys know anywhere local that does 15-kilo gas bottles? I go, 15-kilo gas bottle exchange Attleborough. Click. I'm like, yeah, there's this place, and this place. I'm thinking, why the hell didn't you've got your phone in your bloody hand? Oh, get my 3D printer fixed. Taxidermy Pokemon. Oh dear. So far, kept best skin, a kind black bear and a female lynx, tiger bear. Oh, tiger bear? Tiger shoulder blades. The size of them is incredible. Yeah, it's then again, local history. Yeah, might be in cycling distance. Place called Grimes Grave. Yeah, there is a site. Let me Google that for you. Yeah, the amount of times that I end up Googling things for people at work because they've come into the wrong shop, basically. What I think, oh, they'll know. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm always polite and professional, and they're always happy when they then leave knowing where they've got to go to get whatever it is they want. It's just kind of annoying. I'm not annoying as such because it's something different. But yeah, you standing there thinking, why didn't you just type where do I? Do people not realise you can ask Google questions? You don't just have to like type in the website. Got some tiger nails, a family heirloom. I can't wear those to go for conservation. Probably not. That'd be a bit like Steve Irwin, or sorry, Bindi Irwin, wearing a necklace made out of stingray spines. Yeah, it just wouldn't be right. Where were we? Yeah, shoulder blades. Say, Grimes Graves, I say just down the road. It'd be a bloody long bike ride. It's a Neolithic site of flint mines, and they were digging out thousands of tons of flints. We're going back 4000 BC, and they were using antler picks and as pickaxes, and literally things like cow and horse shoulder blades as shovels to shovel the mud out of the dirt. So yeah, they could have done with some tigers. I'd have got the hole dug a bit quicker. Yeah, that's somewhere I want to visit as well. Grimes Graves. You do have to pay to get in, but I found the hashtag to a woman in Tulsa is supposed to know how to set up sumps, does maintenance and scopes, so maybe I'll get her help. A sump. I think of a sump as an under tank. And I see all these sumps and they've got like 3 little bits of sponge at the start, and they've got this big compartment that's just full of wasted space because it's got a bunch of media in it, and then another compartment with a pump. I'm thinking, why don't you just plant that center section and stick a light under there? That'll probably pull more nitrates out of the water than any heavily expensive media will do. And you can also then sell the plants. Got some lion teeth and a necklace made from the entire tail of a lioness. Wraps around my neck 3 times. I bet that's nice and warm. Collected some cool stuff. Yes, I used to have a collection of, I'm going back many years, decades. But yeah, I had a collection of animal bones and skulls and all sorts of cool things. Then I decided that it would be a good idea maybe to like start dating, or having visitors every once in a while. And it quickly dawned on me that most people don't like walking into a room or a house that is decorated with the skulls of dead creatures. So what people called a refugium. Yeah. So why don't we do that with sumps? Bit of substrate in the bottom, or heck, just grow a whole bunch of hornwort or something in there. It's just some stem plants, something that will suck all the nitrates out. I'll do a better job of sucking the nitrates out than a whole bunch of media with a lot of water moving through it fast. It's been one thing after another for a long time. You'll get there, Bunny. I have every faith in you. You will do this. You will move forward. Sometimes it takes a lot longer than we want it to. Sometimes it keeps feeling like 2 steps forward and 1 back, but we'll get there. Oh, yes, a giraffe skull. You could probably wear that. I did have a horse skull at one point, but that was big. And I'm not going to say where I got it from. It wasn't exactly legit. Findus. No, yeah. Allegedly, in my opinion. But there we go. And my time, unfortunately, is up. So, thank you everyone for tuning in, for being here on a silly Sunday. Thank you, Bob, for the super chat. I would collect skulls, but most would have a hole in them. I do an amulet made with dead cobra's ashes, so cool. So yes, thank you everyone for turning up, being here, sharing your Sunday evening, afternoon, morning, whichever it is with me. I think Tom is going live again on the freshwater fish keeping Facebooky page if you wanted to join him over there. Other than that, whether there's another fish fammer streaming it this time, I don't know. So I'm going to go get something to eat and have a pee. But yeah. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week. Stay safe. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah. Boo.